Well, to understand those numbers, to decode it, as well as focus on the various segments, well, we have with us, Mr. Praveer Sinha, the MD and CEO of the company. Hi, Mr. Sinha. Thanks so much for joining in. A fairly, decent performance, so to call it, but it appears the street wanted more. Let's focus on a couple of aspects, and let's start off with Mudra itself. The street has been waiting by for the last couple of months or so that there will be some bit of, resolvement coming in on that issue. If you could tell us what is the current status and a timeline. What is the conversations you've had with the Maharashtra as well as the Gujarat governments? Go ahead.
Good morning and thank you for having me on your show. As you would have seen, this is the 10th consecutive quarter where we have shown growth in our performance and our PATs have increased. And in fact, for the quarter also, our PAT has increased by nearly 76% on year before exceptional items, and similarly for the whole year. On Mundra, there has been very good development. You would have seen that Government of India has given directions under Section 11, under which all the 5 units have to operate and supply to all the 5 procurer states. We will be given a full pass-through of cost, so there would be hopefully no under-recovery. And that means the full cost of coal, including the exchange rates and the operating parameters. And a committee has been set by Ministry of Power, based on which we will get the full realization and it will be cost reflective. So I think that's a very good change. This, of course, is for next 6 months. But for next 6 months, all the units should hopefully be operating at full capacity. You would have seen in the last quarter, we were just operating 1 unit for Gujarat.
Yeah.
But going forward, all 5 units will operate at full 100% availability.
Okay.
And we should be able to recover full cost for Mundra.
So the PLF of the Mundra unit, since you're saying that all 5 will be operating, it goes up from around the 25%. In the previous quarters, it was 70-75% odd. So you're saying that that goes up. Is that correct? And by when will this committee come out with an outcome?
So we're already now running 4 units and we will soon be starting the 5th unit. So we do expect at least for next 2 quarters up to October, all 5 units to run at 100% availability, and the PLF will definitely be more than 80-85%. So that's the expectation that we have. This committee has given the option that the procured states can buy on the tariff that will be determined by this committee, which will be a cost reflective tariff. And in case any of the state is not keen to pursue that, then they can relinquish that quantity and it can be taken by the other procurer states. And in absence of even other procurer states not taking, it can be sold in the exchange, and the difference between the actual cost and the exchange can be shared 50-50. So I think it's a very good development that has happened for all imported coal-based plants, including Mundra. And we do expect that this plant will become, to that extent, financially sustainable, at least for next 6 months.
Right, because the exchange price is also capped at 12 rupees a unit. Mr. Sinha, good morning. Prashant here. Could you tell us that? Could you tell us if you're already selling power? This is already coming through at the full pass-through, or this will be settled?
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
So this happened on 5th of May. So thereafter, we will be getting this. We will getting the payment under this arrangement. The committee has already met on Saturday, and we expect in next 2-3 days they should come out with the tariff, which the procurer states have to pay on a weekly basis. And this committee will keep on revising the prices every 2 weeks to ensure that it reflects the whatever is the HBA prices and the shipping cost and the other costs which are attributed to the generation of the power.
Right. No, the reason I'm okay. So it will be decided. It will be revised weekly. Basically, you're saying the price by the committee.
Yeah, a revised arrangement under Section 11. So right. Section 11 empowers them to ask us to run all unit and also empowers them to give a cost reflective tariff.
Right.
So
what happens if the price which is set by the committee still doesn't kind of fully compensates you for the high price of coal and other things? Do you have an option? Do you have a recourse then? And also at this stage, what is the feedback from states Because you said, well, states have an option to relinquish or they can buy it, etc. So both things, sir.
So if you see the order, it very clearly says it will be cost reflective. So there will be no under recovery that will be there. So based on the actual cost of coal and the operating parameters and shipping cost and unloading cost, you will be given a tariff which will be fixed by that committee. And that price is still much less than the exchange price. And you have seen in last 2 months, the exchange prices have nearly been 12 rupees, which is the cap that CERC has put on the sale of power. In fact, prior to that, it was going up to 20 rupees. So I think considering that there is a huge shortage of power, this will be taken by all the procurer states, because the alternative is that they go and buy from exchange, which will be much more expensive than procuring power from these imported coal-based plants.
So, Mr. Sinha, keeping all this in mind, what could be the estimated EBITDA per quarter for your coal business going ahead?
Well, we can compute that and share. At this stage, I don't have that data, but I can definitely tell you that the EBITDA will be positive for Mundra plant, as also for all the other imported coal-based plants. That's the objective of this arrangement.
Oh, so the EBITDA for Mundra will turn positive. Is that the guidance that you're giving us from this quarter onwards, quarter one onwards?
Absolutely, no, because once it is cost reflective, it will become positive.
Okay, all right. So we got that.
But this is only for 6 months, right, Mr. Sinha? So what happens after that?
This is still 31st October, but the option is always there with the government and the procurers to extend this.
So this arrangement is to tide over the crisis that we are facing. But beyond that, I mean, we'll still have to wait for what the government decides to see, right?
Yeah, but this will set the benchmark for future also. So I think what is important is to see that once a tariff is established, then a future arrangement can be on similar terms.
Okay, all right. So that's about Mundra. You know, getting back to the coal business that Reema briefly spoke about, in the past quarter, there was a lot of expectation. Clearly, there was, flooding at the unit. The prices were capped, high amount of sales in the domestic market, and that's why the EBITDA was at around the 550 crores odd, which is much low on a sequential basis comparison to quarter three. Given that most of that has been resolved now, what should the EBITDA per quarter look like from here on for your coal business?
So our coal business, we have already got the license extension for next 10 years with the option for further extension by another 10 years.
Okay.
What we are seeing also is very high coal prices. April, the HBA was 288. May, the HBA is 275. And there is a huge demand of coal globally because there has been short supply. One is from Russia. Secondly, because of the flooding that took place in the earlier months, there is a huge demand, and we expect that the coal prices will be in the range of 250 in the coming months. We do expect that the plant will make up for the lost production in the month of February and March because the flooding took place, and because of climate change, there is huge amount of rains that happened, and we could not produce. Normally, we would produce about 5 to 5.2 million tons.
Right.
And we produced nearly 3.5 during this period.
Yes.
So going forward, we are expecting very good results from the coal mining business in this year.
Okay, good results. So you're expecting a bit of a bounce back out there. What about your debt position? Your net debt is at around 40,000 crores approximately. You had reduced some debt. Now it's back closer around the 39 and 40,000 crores odd. For this year, will there be some debt reduction? If yes, by how much? By the end of FY23, what should the net debt number look like? Go ahead.
So as you are aware, we are doing large scale investment in a renewable business.
Yes.
We have huge plans of investment of nearly 10,000 crores in renewable. In fact, last financial year also, we did a total investment of nearly 6,000 crores in various businesses, including renewables. And the result is that nearly 700 megawatt of capacity addition took place in our renewable portfolio. The results of that in terms of better revenue, better EBITDA and better PAT will start flowing in from this quarter onwards. Similarly, in this coming year, we have huge plans. We have nearly 1,500 megawatt of orders which we have for utility scale, which we will implement in this financial year, and so also some new projects that we are winning, we will be implementing. So there is a huge investment that is planned for this coming financial year. In spite of that, we expect that our debt equity will be flat. Our debt will be virtually flat in the coming year.
Okay, Mr. Sinha, thank you very much for joining us, and we do hope that on that Mundra tariff, what's being done now kind of sets the tone for how a tariff is decided beyond the 31st of October as well, and that the plant keeps operating and it's not sort of stop-start as we've seen lately. Okay, I mean the stock is down sharply, about 8% lower, 20 rupees 226 at this point in time. This is the CNBC TV exclusive we are going to now. We learned from sources that the GST Council will consider levying a 28% tax GST on cryptocurrencies. My colleague Timsy is picking this up. She's got all the details. Timsy, good morning.
Well, when we talk of cryptocurrencies, they are still outside the ambit of GST. The only aspect that is being covered is